Hey guys, so yeah, just to get things started, we'll begin with the karakia from the astounding Matu from the Hokonui Rūnanga.
Tēnā tātou. So first I'll do we'll do a karakia, then we'll do a mihi on behalf of us. It's a Rūnanga and I'll translate so that we all have a fair understanding of what I'm saying. Ka pai. Kia nui tātou. Tūtawa mai runga, tūtawa mai raro, tūtawa mai roto, tūtawa mai waho. Kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori oro, te Māori oro. Ki te katoa. Mai e, titikua, mai e, te tapito. Mai e tā whiwhia tiki ngā tuatake a mai no ngā rangi tūhāha, mai e te kāwhi o ngā riki. Ki tau ki nā tū, te Māori aku mai, ki runga ki e nei taura, ki runga ki e nei tauira. Ka tuku nā tū te whai ororo tāne te wai ora tēnei te mata tū kaike. Kia whakatū tārewa ki te rangi. Uhi, wero, hau mai ko te toki, hau mi e hui e, tai ki e. So that karakia there was about prevailing with peace, and so that the summit may go forth and be prosperous. So, nō reira, e ngā iti, e ngā rahi, a ko tatu mai rā ki tēnei o ngā hui ngā o tātou i tēnei rangi, kia kōrero tia, kia wānanga tia, ngā kōrero e pāna ki tō tātou nei tai au, a tēnei e hora ke nei. Nō reira, ko ai tēnei e tua ke nei, ko Hokonui puke rau, Hokonui tangata rau tērā e tūtū mai ana. E rere ana, ko tēnei awa tipua, tēnei waiora, ko mataura, ko te whenua mārua wai, ko te papatupua tēnei o Hokonui, a tēnei e mihi atu. Nō reira, e ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā pai mau, ngā putanoi te motu, putanoi te ao. Nei rā mātou, ko ngā mana whenua, e mihi atu nei kia koutou. So on behalf of us, Hokonui Rūnanga, we'd like to welcome you here today to the summit, and hopefully, like I said before, it is prosperous and you have good wānanga or good discussions and learn a few things. So, tēnā rā tātou katoa. And also, if you want to know more about us, type up Hokonui Rūnanga, or the website is hokonuirunanga.org.
You'll find it if you put it.
And if you have any other questions, we have another representative who will be speaking tomorrow, Jana Davis. So if you have anything related to taiao or to the environment, shoot it his way. Ka pai. Tēnā tātou.
Yeah, kia ora everybody, and welcome to the Montana Flat, and welcome to Future Whenua Summit 2023. It's an honour to have you all here. Thank you for travelling. I know some of you have come from the North Island and different parts of the South Island. So yeah, just like really grateful that you've taken the time out of like this summer and March and to spend the weekend down on this like pretty critical subject, regeneration, giving back to the land. And just like thinking about what we can do now to bring about a beautiful future on our land. For those of you that just joined and weren't on the farm tour, this is a third generation, or I'm the third generation on this property. It's 1,000 acres. We've got about 5,000 sheep. It's been run as a conventional property for sort of like 40-50 years, and then just like recently we've just been taking a few tweaks to try and have a bit more of a life supporting model, including diversity in our pastures and in our winter crops, and then just sort of like having a keen eye, a bit of observation about what's happening, and like is what we're doing working to, you know, have a better soil structure or bring back more insect life. And so we've just been asking these questions fundamentally and observing, and then just like re-asking those questions, and then we've been like networking and going to weekends like this and field days and other farm trips, and just like finding out who else is out there that's doing this, and sort of like asking questions of them, and then just like as when we come together like this, it's just the most powerful way to learn, because like the members in this room, we've all got like rich experience in all walks of life. So it's just a bit of a way that we can fast track our way to like knowing like what do we need to be doing right about now. Yeah, just along with like shifting our farming practice, we've been including some like more like systemic aspects to diversity. Primarily, we've been running a large music and arts festival that was sort of one of the big out the gates. Like this is what we can do to use this land outside of producing lamb. And yeah, so we just had it a month ago. The horse behind us, it lived. We had our fire permit suspended on the Friday before the event, and I was pretty stoked about it because we'd put a lot of love and care and like resources and time into that thing, and it like became a bit of a mate. And if you haven't been up there at some time this weekend, I encourage you do so. There's like, yeah, it's pretty swanky, and you can take the fireman's pole out its ass. So. So it's like, yeah, just got a bit of this user experience, and it's just a bit of fun, and it's also just like a bit of a story of this land. When we were building that thing, we were down here like pretty much every day for a month beforehand, and we just had this old Canadian dude milling trees in a pine plantation we've got at the far end of the property. And so we were pretty much cutting down a tree one day, and then it was getting milled the next day, and then we were loading it onto the trailer with the tractor, bringing it down, and I'd load it in front of the horse, and then by the day following that, it was getting, you know, turned into that thing. So it was pretty cool, just like seeing like a tree become a horse in a matter of a couple of days. And that's the situation with all the structures that we've built for the festival. Not many trees actually we have cut down. Mostly they've been windblown. The plantation is like 33 years old, so it's ready for harvest at the moment. I vetoed that. It was meant to be sort of retirement money for mum and dad to go traveling the world or something, but it's like not worth that much money anyway. And all those logs would just get sold to China and like or somewhere it would like be done, and then we'd just have this blank sort of degraded landscape. But right now it's a pretty cool and alternative landscape to what we've got, which is otherwise just like open pasture. So we've got some paintball guns, and every now and then we'll have like stag do's or parties in there, and we've also got a frisbee golf course in there. And so it's just like another leg of how we can use this property with the entertainment throughout the year. And it also allows just that resource, the wood, for us to actually utilize for something that really matters. And like maybe this horse doesn't matter that much to some, but it does. Like it's really cool, and we got this real physical like direct interaction with the output of the work of like dad and mom who planted those trees 33 years ago. And so hopefully we'll just be able to keep using those for stuff for the festival. Maybe we can build tiny homes with them. Who knows? But just really starting to value that as an asset that we can like think of the life cycle of, rather than just as a commodity that we can like sell to whoever wants to come and buy it, and it gets like added into the commons that goes to some logging company in China probably. And so yeah, a lot of them, yeah, due to the age, have just been blowing over, and it's just been incredible how much we can use that tree for. We'll get the timber out, and then we've got the sawdust from that we can use to mulch our gardens, and then with the offcuts we can build little furniture or something, and then what we can't use for furniture we can use for firewood. So it's just been like really like just having this lens of utilization and valuing the resource. And we've done that in other parts of our farm as well, like with all these hedgerows that you've seen throughout the farm. We've got to trim those all the time, and sometimes those hedge trimmings, we just have to, it's a big job, like collect them and burn them. That's traditionally what's done. And something we've been doing in the last couple of years is trying to like line them against the fence and mulching them in. So we're like putting that biomass back into the soil to help sort of feed the soil fungi, and also create a bit of a bed to plant into later. We might be able to go see one of those in the workshop on Sunday. And yeah, basically it's just been like this idea of experimentation. So we talked a lot about now on the farm tour how we've been doing that with the grazing management and just like pastoral practices. But yeah, just thinking that like broader, just like yeah, what can we really be doing here that can both like enrich our lives as like farmers, like make things fun because we're doing all this different stuff, but also just like maybe give back ecologically, and then also just like fit into our farming system. So it's been a pretty wild ride, and I definitely know that I just like feel really engaged in this style of farming. It's really exciting. Sometimes it's challenging, and it asks, you know, it sort of like brings you up because you've got to create something new perhaps now and then. But it's very rewarding, and I wouldn't change it at all. I wouldn't want to go back to just like doing what we've always done, and following a sort of calendar routine. Future Whenua Summit came about 2 years ago when we couldn't do Burning Horse. So at the last Burning Horse, you might have seen when we came in, there's a space with some like old bits of metal sticking out of the ground. We call that the horse graveyard. Previous horses have not been as big as that, and we've sort of made like a metal skeleton and attached driftwood to it. And then so we've just like taken those metal skeletons and dug them into the ground over there, and we held a regenerative talk space and had talks on regenerative agriculture and how can we restore the waterways and these sorts of topics. And it was pretty good, but everyone's like dancing or swimming in the river, and we sort of thought it was an event of its own, like it had its own kaupapa, this regenerative talk space. And yeah, so with like COVID having to cancel Burning Horse, it just provided that space and sort of like the energy that we'd been putting into Burning Horse to put into this event. And so we held Future Whenua Summit, and we came up with that name. It was just like partly because the alliteration like flowed really nice, but it's also a really nice idea, you know, Future Whenua, and it sort of like puts your mind, okay, so what is the future of our land? We certainly don't want to like live in a desert, do we? And that's like some of our agricultural lands, like historically as a species, we've farmed them so hard that they've turned to deserts. And so we definitely don't want to think of our future land as a desert. We want to think of it as something that's thriving, and like there's bird life and insects, and like there's people out enjoying the land, and there's like a diversity, and there's color, and sort of the things that like meet our basic human needs are available and on hand. And so that's what I think about with the Future Whenua. And so that's sort of at the philosophical level. And so we brought it just like with this conversation, yeah, like orientating definitely towards agriculture and the rural sector, but just also thinking about like how does that play into the broader sense of what we've got to do culturally, and as a civilization, we really need to shape up our act and shift towards a more ecological context that we're all bound by. And yeah, so this weekend, I guess we're just like building on what happened 2 years ago, and then last year up at Mangarara Station, we decided that if we shifted from 1 year here, 1 year at another property that's sort of embodying the same principles, and then back, that it would just like give a bit of a breather here, and things would like shape up a bit. And then it also just gets, allows that sort of networking effect of having a Future Whenua up in the North Island, and maybe in the Hawke's Bay. Next year it could be in Northland, perhaps around Nelson. And it sort of just starts to build this community of those of us that are in the room, you know, these people with a like care for the earth and a care for the whenua, and just starting to, yeah, like build that community throughout the country. And so just thinking about what we wanted to share in this year's event, we've been talking a lot, yeah, more about that cultural shift that we need to make. And so we thought about this theme of regional regeneration, like what does it take to regenerate a region. And so some of the topics we're going to be talking about, we've got a workshop on designing a local food hub, and we're talking about like how to make change. And yeah, tomorrow morning we've got like some really potent speakers, Jana being one of them, about like native restoration. And it's sort of just like yeah, the way that we change our farming practices is huge, and it's fundamental, and it's like, I think, one of the biggest keys to shifting things in the direction we want it to shift. But there's so much at play, and it's all interconnected, and we need to address it at all these levels. So the weekend's just going to be a little taster of a bunch of different topics, all related around this topic of regional regeneration. So hopefully you enjoy the flow of like the different things that come to play to do with that. And I don't have too much more to share. I'll be sort of emceeing the event as introducing different speakers throughout. So you'll hear more from me. We do have a potluck dinner tonight. So if you brought something along after we're finished, we're just gonna maybe bring it over to the kitchen and we'll sort that all out, and we'll eat around about 7 o'clock. And yeah, the whole weekend's catered. Just do enjoy yourself. We've got heaps of time for downtime, so like explore the grounds and just like see maybe you can feel some of the love that's been put into the area under the willows, or in some of the artwork that's been decided to be placed, and just like maybe like attune to that energy. And make sure you just like get to meet as many people in the room, because everyone here is like pretty interesting. I've read some of the submissions, and you've got like powerful thoughts about regeneration and like interesting backgrounds. So have as many talks, because it's like it's us the people that are going to make the change, and it's like if we're connected, then we're more powerful. So right now we're going to hear from Rob Scott, the mayor of this beautiful district, this region that we're in. And then we're going to hear from Richard Kite, who's founding of a really incredible organisation that's just like doing that networking and that patchworking to in this regenerative mindset. So have an awesome time. Any questions, you can talk to me, Rob, anyone with one of these tops, Mom. Just yeah, it's a pretty casual event. We're not trying to like be one of these high level conferences where everything's like made on the dime. Like feeling like an organic flow sort of meets the organic nature of what we're trying to create. So yeah, have an awesome time. Questions, just fire away anytime. We've got toilets on a bit of housekeeping. Just there's a composting loo over by the bar there. There's another one actually through the willows and over. But if you see these like wooden domes, those are composting toilets. So have a way in there. And at that, Rob Scott.
Just give me a yell if you can't hear me. I'm not quite as loud as Zeb, and the microphone hasn't got a battery, so just shout out if I'm not loud enough. But yeah, thanks for that, Zeb, and it's a real honour to be here, and it's a part of my job that I love, because this kind of stuff is so inspirational, being amongst such a diverse and collaborative group of people that are all here for a single purpose of making the world a better place. So I've spoken to an Aucklander, and I've spoken to someone from the UK. How many people here aren't from Southland? Quite a few. So yeah, welcome. I'm the luckiest mayor in the country. I've got the second luckiest mayor over there from Gore, but I'm the luckiest one, because I mean, what else could you ask for than being mayor of a place like this? And it really is fantastic. And for what's the discussions are going to happen over the weekend to make it even better, just makes me even luckier. And someone said to me this afternoon, it's a shame that it's going to be raining at the event that you're going to. And I said, well, no, it's not actually, because we're talking about regeneration, and what does rain do? It regenerates, and it serves a purpose, and it's actually really refreshing to have this rain and to see what it's going to do. And driving past the sunflowers on the way in here again, that I drove past a few weeks ago, having a look, and they're all looking a little bit they're sort of hiding from the rain, but knowing what that rain is going to do for them. And the next day the sun shines, we're going to see that regeneration coming up. And it's incredible what's actually being done here with people like Zeb. And to paraphrase Einstein, if you carry on doing what you've always done, you're going to carry on getting what you always got. And we've just got to look at what Mother Nature is saying to us at the moment in the likes of the North Island and what they've just gone through. We're getting a bit of a slap in the face or a punch in the guts from the universe for what's happening, and we need to be doing it better. And this is a prime example of actually not just talking about it, but actually doing it, and looking at different ways of doing stuff, looking at the kaitiakatanga, looking after the land, being stewards of the land, rather than trying to pillage the land for everything that it can give to us, but giving back and leaving it better for the future generations. And also looking at things during COVID, we sort of become aware of the need for those sort of community, collaborative community approaches. And we've all got very short memories, and you step back into the old ways of doing things again. And when you look at the fact that the South Island relies on the bridge in Ashburton for a supply line, half the time for the stuff that's coming past your gate, going further north on the truck, turning around, coming back again, and silly things like that. So I think looking at different ways of doing stuff, and also walking that talk, like Zeb and the team here are doing, it's pretty cool. And Southland always does stuff better. We lead the way. We're innovative. We're resilient, and part of this is about building resilience. And it just makes me so proud to be a part of this kind of district and this region with people like we have here doing this really cool stuff. And yeah, I don't have too much else to say other than have a great weekend. I'm already inspired, and I'm sure by the end of the weekend everyone's going to walk out of here with a big smile, and so much Dewey and the Hui as well. It's so great to witness all of this, and I look forward to seeing the continued evolution of this great work. So yeah, welcome to Southland for those that aren't here, and have a fantastic weekend. Thank you.